Warning: some scenes may be seen as disturbing by some viewers. The Elder Scrolls is a well-known game franchise with an ever-expanding lore and fanbase. Every discussion on role-playing games, or RPGs, includes at least one of the games that appear so far in this series. I could spend all day exploring the lore of this incredibly beautiful world, but instead I will be comparing the world of the Elder Scrolls with our world that we live in today. To do this, I will be speaking with people who play the games and asking them about what they like and dislike about the world of the Elder Scrolls and where they would rather be. What is your name?
Oscar Main.
My name is Juan.
How familiar are you with the Elder Scrolls?
Pretty familiar.
How many games from the series have you played?
Would you like me to name them?
Yes, please.
Oblivion, Elder Scrolls 5, Elder Scrolls 4, Elder Scrolls Online, and the original, but I've forgotten the name of it.
How familiar are you with the Elder Scrolls?
I know more or less.
How many games from the series have you played?
2 of them. I played Skyrim and Oblivion.
The Elder Scrolls franchise takes place on the continent of Tamriel, a large landmass with 9 provinces home to 10 very different species. These species range from golden-skinned elves to bipedal catmen that come in 17 different forms. But the catmen are a story for another time. Like everything in life on Tamriel has some perks and some negatives. The main perk of living in Tamriel is the many diverse cultures and people you would meet within a week. If you choose to travel, you would never meet the same personalities twice. You'd meet some of the kindest people and some of the worst people. What do you like about the world of the Elder Scrolls?
Mostly the military and all the differences in all the factions.
What do you like about the world of the Elder Scrolls?
Well, what I like most about the Elder Scrolls is that I like the magic in the game. Yeah, lots of the actions.
A major positive of living in our world is that almost everything is available for everyone. Want food? Order it online. This makes parts of life quite easy in our world. A second major positive to our world is that we can travel anywhere. This means we can visit anywhere in the world. This makes our world better when looking at travel because in Tamriel, travel is only limited to wooden ships and horse-drawn carts. A major positive for living in Tamriel is the inborn ability to use magic. Though magic isn't trusted by some people, it is still a useful tool if harnessed properly by a strong mage. An experienced wielder will be able to bind demons to them against their wills, or even save the most injured people from death. However, some of the mages you can come across even harness dark arts, bringing the dead back to life and forcing them to kill innocent travellers. But necromancy is just another form of magic and can be manipulated for both good and bad. However, many necromancers have questionable moral codes. That goes without saying, there are many negatives to the world of Tamriel as well. Trolls, dragons, spiders the size of regular men, and radical elves that are similar to the Nazis. Life on Tamriel would also differ depending on your race. For example, if you're an elf or a human, then your life could be quite good. However, if you're an orc, Khajiit, or Argonian, then your chances are not as good, for these races are often abducted and enslaved, or just discriminated against. An example of this is the Khajiit. They hated so much by the races of man that they aren't allowed to enter some cities. Argonians would also have similar problems. They often have working on docks as their only option in life, if they leave their homeland. What don't you like about the world?
probably the racial discrimination.
Well, the story's too short. They should like add more content.
Our world isn't much better, with gender stereotypes getting in the way of jobs and life. A major example of this is when jobs involving more manual labour generally give men more manual tasks. This comes from a historical stereotype that women are physically weaker than men. There are many more bad things about our world that most people avoid talking about. One is pollution. Pollution is destroying our world and is one of the main reasons of climate change and greenhouse gases. This would make the world of the Elder Scrolls better as there is no pollution in that world.
Heart of thorn, bones of the wild, life forsworn. Rise from death, blood of our blood.
The two worlds aren't completely different. There are many similarities, such as the constant threat of war. In the Elder Scrolls, this is normally between elf and man, but in reality, it's countries sending many men to risk their lives. In both worlds, wars are often a quick way to gain power for certain individuals. Gaining power from wars is a big recurring theme in Tamrielic history, as many people have used war to gain power, from men and elves to even the so-called beast races of the continent, Khajiit and Argonians. However, wars are also fought to end tyranny. This is shown throughout human history where humanity has rebelled against leaders and gone to war with tyrants. A large example of this is the French Revolution, where the lower classes overthrew their king and queen for ignoring their needs. This is also shown in one of the 9 provinces of Tamriel, called Skyrim, where there is a huge civil war happening between the dying Empire of Man and the native men of Skyrim. This is because the Empire banned worship of one of their gods under a treaty they signed with the Golden-Skinned Elves. They signed the treaty to stop the Elven people from taking over the Empire. This treaty became known as the White Dog Concordat, named after the tallest tower in Tamriel and the seat of the Empire. What world would you rather live in? Our world or the world of the Elder Scrolls?
The world of the Elder Scrolls.
Why?
So I can go to war every day.
What world would you rather live in?
That's an easy one. Definitely the Elder Scrolls world.
Why?
Because I've always been a fan of the old-fashioned style of combat and how it takes skill.
Personally, I would prefer living in Tamriel due to the diverse cultures and what I would call a more exciting life. But what about you?